Okay, this is just a quick review of what we've done so far. We've done the draw board function, draw piece function, and drop piece function. All of these three functions are primary functions. Okay? They're primary functions with no secondary functions, and that's why we've done these three first. Okay, so the one that occurs in the loop first is the draw board function, then the draw piece function, then the drop piece function. Okay, so that's why we did draw board first, then we did draw piece, and then we did drop piece. So we've done all of the primary functions that do not have secondary functions. Okay, so they're the most straightforward functions to do. This one, and of course this one. Now we have two more primary functions: process inputs and place piece. Okay, so we have 5 primary functions, first functions, functions that actually appear in the main loop. The primary functions are the ones that appear in the main loop. So the first one to appear is draw board, the second one draw piece, and the third one drop piece, the fourth one place piece, the fourth one I think is place piece. Hang on, process inputs actually becomes before that, but these are the 5 functions that occur in the main loop because they are primary functions. Okay? Now these two primary functions that appear in the main loop have secondary functions. Place piece is a primary function that appears in the main loop, and it has a secondary function, clear lines, which does not appear in the main loop but appears in the function place piece. Okay, so these two primary functions, place piece and process inputs, will be going into next. Okay, now this function, place piece and clear lines, has a lot to do with logic, and it's a little bit abstract. So when we program it, we'll program this one first and then put clear lines in the place piece function when we need it. So we program place piece, and when we need to clear a line, we simply put clear lines. When we program this, of course, if we haven't programmed the clear lines function, of course nothing will happen. We have to program this first and then program this, and then something will happen. Okay? But if we program all of this and we haven't programmed this, we can't test this. Okay? Because we won't be able to move the pieces to place them in place them so that we can clear the lines. So we can program the functions in any order, but it would be better, instead of programming place piece first then clear lines, it would be better to program process inputs, because once we have the player inputs, then we can program the secondary functions: move left, move right, and rotate piece. So we can program process inputs first, and then when we want to move a piece left in the function, we just simply type in the move left function, the move right function, and the rotate piece function. However, when we run process inputs, it will do nothing until we program in the move left function, the move right function, and the rotate piece function. Okay, so we're going to start programming the process inputs function, and then we're going to run the program to see if any errors occur. If no errors occur, then the chances are we've got it right. Okay, then we're going to move on to rotate piece function, and the move right function and the move left function. The move right and move left function are very, very similar. Okay, they're almost identical. One's just a mirror image of the other. Okay, So we start programming the process inputs function in terms of move left, move right, and rotate piece. Then we test the program to see if there's any errors. If there are no errors, then we've probably got it right. Then we go on to program the rotate piece function, or the move right function, or the move left function. Okay, so say we start programming process inputs. We're done with that, no errors, everything's okay. Then maybe we'll go on to the move left function, and then we run the program, and then we test to see if it moves left, so left okay. If it does, then we're fine for process inputs move left. Then we program the move right function, and then we run it again, and to check whether process inputs move left and move right work okay. Then we run it again after we've programmed the rotate piece function. Okay, then we can test rotate piece, move right, move left of the process inputs. We just run the program and see if the piece can move left, move right, and rotate when the left, right key and space bar key scan code number 57 works okay. Once process inputs is fully working, then we can test for this place piece and clear lines. Remember, we haven't programmed these yet, so we're going to program this, and then we're going to program in the secondary functions after we've run it. And then once this is all tested, process inputs works with move left, move right, and rotate piece, then we can program in place piece and then run it and test it and see if it's throwing us any errors. If it doesn't throw us any errors, then we can go on to program the clear lines function, and then we have our complete game. So that's how to deal with primary functions that have secondary functions. Okay, remember, primary functions are directly connected to the main loop and appear within the main loop. Secondary functions are not directly connected with the main loop, they're connected to primary functions. Okay, and they don't appear in the main loop, they appear in the related function, in the primary function that they are associated with. Okay, so move left will only appear in here, move right will only appear in here, and rotate piece will only appear in here. And same with clear lines, will only appear in here, and obviously as a separate function. They'll all occur as separate functions, okay, as well. Okay, so process inputs will only appear in the main loop, and place piece will only appear in the main loop, drop piece will appear in the main loop, draw piece will appear in the main loop, and draw board will appear in the main loop. But these functions will not appear in the main loop. This one will appear in here, this one will appear in here, this one will appear in here, and this one will also appear in here. And all of these functions, every single one of them, will appear as a function in itself in the functions section of the program. Okay, so these are actually called sub-functions. These are sub-functions of the process inputs functions, and this is a sub-function of the place piece function. So just make sure you're clear on all that terminology, and then that will make things a lot clearer. Okay, so I'll just put that in. We want primary or first, primary, and secondary function. That's a secondary function or sub-function. Okay, sometimes called sub-functions. That's a sub-function of that function. Okay, so just make sure you're familiar with all the terminology, because I will be using it just to make things clearer. So that's a primary function, that's a primary function, that's a primary function, that's a primary function, that's also a primary function, and these are secondary functions or sub-functions. Okay, when you specify sub-function, you have to specify, if you say sub-function, if you mention it, it's good to mention what it is a sub-function of. So the move right, move left, and rotate piece are sub-functions of the process inputs function. Okay? And just a little error I've just spotted here. The actual function for draw piece is not draw piece. We actually called it draw current piece, not draw piece. Okay, we actually called it draw current piece. Okay, so that's a little mistake I made. So just be aware of that if you're not sure what draw piece is. It's actually this one, draw current piece. Okay, so I should put that about there. Sorry. Just try and do that now. So that actually should go there, draw current piece. Okay, and the main loop is actually technically called the function main. Okay, it's just the main program, but you don't really have to know that. It's only if you're programming C++ you need to be aware of that, but that's technically called main. So they're all functions. All these functions are functions of the main function called main, which is the program. Okay, so once you're clear on all of that, what we're going to do next, we're going to go and program the process inputs function, and then we're going to do move left, move right, and rotate piece. These are very similar, so I could probably do this in one session. Okay, so just be clear on that. That's how we're going to go about it. Okay, thank you.